Serious and you're looking for a Christ man, the one who's anointed with the Lord, with the Spirit of the Lord to do his will, I'm that nigga.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make a money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo.
American honor don't lack no soldiers. For the Spirit of the Lord, we don't lack no soldiers. You understand me?
The same, black, Hispanic, native, they hate y'all as the same. Hate Christ in they image, hate you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate African soft niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in a cell toilet connected to the saint. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lies sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't bandage no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under YAHANNA, Amy murdered by them and got a hug from YAHANNA. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, rank and order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game. Put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves.
Aquí somos la Escuela Israelita del Conocimiento Práctico Universal. Hoy estamos aquí. Lord Commandant General YAHANNA, I.S.U.P.K.
This is what Commander General YAHANNA did. This is what he did.
First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua Brakatham to all the brothers, Yahweh Shemal Atan Bahashem Yahushua to all the sisters. I'm Priest Officer 500 Barak Yalla with the I.S.U.P.K, which stands for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General YAHANNA, you understand? Since 1969, been teaching you nothing but the truth about the identity of the real biblical Jews, who happen to be so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the only people whose identity was stolen and robbed from them. You understand? And it's so important to know these days who you are, what your identity is, because with that comes a culture, comes standards, a code of conduct that we lack as a people. This is why our people is so destroyed. And this is part 2 of last week's class. You understand, about solving the problems in our community. You understand, whether it's addressing the problems, with one another on an individual level, then on a family level, on a community level, right? So we could fix the problem. Because how can we find the solution if we never address the problems in the first place, right? That's why it's a part 2 of the class. We're not going to do a part 3 next week. We're just going to do the class in French. You understand? We're live right now on I.S.U.P.K in Montreal, Toronto, IET, and Boston on YouTube, I.S.U.P.K in Montreal and Canada on Facebook, in Barakiala, UPK on Bigo. Make sure y'all tune in, like, share everywhere the class. Like, share, you understand? Put in your questions in the chat, comments, boost the algorithm. Everybody needs this truth, and the truth is such a beautiful thing. We might have to start that. Listen, we start the class with a few precepts sometimes, right? Hosea 4:6, my people is destroyed for lack of knowledge. Zephaniah 2:1, how we have to gather together. But let me go to Revelation real quick, right? Because you don't know how beautiful it is to be in the truth. Listen, it's so beautiful to be in the truth, right? Because you know that there is hope. You have hope. You have a solution to every single problem that we face in the community. You understand? We do. And this is the solution right here. It's everything that we have in this Bible. From the Old Testament to the Apocrypha to the New Testament. It's right there. The solution is running. We have the blueprint. We were just robbed the blueprint. The blueprint was robbed from us. The blueprint was spoiled by a nation that is not, by a people that is not a people. That's what the Bible calls them. By the worst of the heathens. You understand? But let me show you how beautiful it is to be in the truth, and then we're gonna get into the second part of the class, which goes along with a similar topic as last week. Why? Because we see we have a lot of problems in the community, and one of the problems is that we trust in our oppressor. And when you look into the Bible and you find out that you don't have to do so, matter of fact, you are to do the total opposite, and the total opposite is the key. It's like a weight that is lifted off of your shoulders. You understand? Let me go to Revelation chapter 10, start at verse 9. Let me share my screen. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 10, verse 9. Right? And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. And it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. What is that little book? That's the truth. That's the Bible we have today. These are the scrolls. You understand? That's a revelation that was given. The angels gave him the truth. And what does it make your belly bitter? How can it make your belly bitter and it's sweet as honey at the same time? It's simple as that, right? Because now, guess what? You're going to realize that the way you're living is disgusting. The way you're living is abominable. That's what you're going to realize. You understand? But it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Why? Because learning the truth is so amazing to learn that the people who are looked as hopeless, who is it again? Trump or Biden said Haiti is a shithole country. Guess what? The people of that so-called shithole country is the greatest people on the planet. Is the Levites, according to the Bible. You understand? That propaganda about Dominican Republic and Haiti is propaganda. It's a plan to destroy two people that are the same. It's beautiful to know. It's amazing to know, Haitians and Dominicans truly are brothers. It goes beyond colonization. It goes beyond slavery. That's why it's sweet. It's sweet to learn. It's amazing. You're like, damn. It goes further than just sharing history and oppression with the Mexicans, the Latinos, the Colombians. No, we are actually blood related. But you're gonna see how it becomes bitter in your belly because of how you treated the Mexicans for so long before you learned the truth, of how you treated one another, black on black crime, before you learn the truth. Realizing that you being a Christian is probably one of the most disgusting things you could have ever been in on the face of the earth. Let's keep reading. Verse 10. Revelation chapter 10, verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and ate it up. You understand? That's why you have to read the Bible in context, because it's not literally talking about eating a book, consuming the book, like taking bites off of pages. No. See it as like the Garden of Eden, food for thought. You understand? And it was in my mouth, sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, Salakia, my belly was bitter. Why? Because learning this truth is amazing. Now you're like, yo, you can't find a good woman because all you run into is thoughts and whores and damn, listen, prostitutes. You understand? Now you're like, there's a solution to it. Is that once you find a woman, you lay with her, you can't let her go. And it's amazing. Because now, guess what? It's like we seen last week. You can't divorce that woman unless she sleeps with another man. And we have standards in this book that was given by that angel. We have standards in these roles. We have standards in these scrolls, in these records on how to be the greatest men the Lord called us to be, in order for us to be the greatest husband, in order for us to be the greatest brother, the greatest father. Likewise with these women, we have rules on how they have to become the greatest woman the Lord called them to be the greatest mothers, the greatest wives, the greatest sisters. It's beautiful. But why does it make our belly bitter? Because you realize how you were the worst human possible. You realize that you contributed in the whoredom of our people. That's why. That's how it makes your belly bitter. It's not about how many women you left you, but how many whores you made. And likewise for these sisters, realizing that sex is marriage and that our family is not supposed to be separated, you realize that you are disgusting. Both men and women live disgusting lifestyles. And like it says, I think it says, I forgot where in the Old Testament, that we sacrifice our children. Why? Because we teach them how to be disgusting human beings. We teach, in these days, sisters are talking about every woman in their lifetime needs to have a whole phase. No, you don't. Brothers are adapting each other up, talking about how many women they have slept with. But it's not about how many women you have slept with, but how many of them you kept. Listen, you sleep with 5 women, you have to keep them 5s. It's your problem if they're horrendous in the spirit. I'm not talking about physically, because physically they must have been attractive for you to sleep with them. But if they're dragons, that is your problem. You understand? That's why it's gonna make you feel bitter in your belly. Because now that you know the truth, you have to realize, yo, the way I'm living is not it. It's disgusting. It's abominable. This is what abominable means. It's disgusting in the eyes of the Lord. Just like, you see how it says, honor thy father and thy mother. Guess what? You're dishonoring the Lord, which is your father. You're dishonoring him. How? Because of the lifestyle that you live, which is going against the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And this is why you have so much problems in your life. Why? Because you disobey the Lord. And we're here to solve these problems. Let's go back real quick, right? Let's go to in fact, let's finish the verse. Let's go to verse 11 and then bring the other precept, and then we get into some of the problems that we face in our community, right? Revelation chapter 10, verse 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples, which is exactly what we do. Salaki. When you see us on social media, you see a Captain Tazariak everywhere. You see who else? Officer Thabawan, Officer Gadaiwan, all these shows, Cross the Line Radio. What is it? The Louisiana with Officer Matabar, Nakawan, Yasad. What else? Heads of State with Captain Hadar. You understand? One West Ground Zero with Officer 1000 Adayar, Shayawan. You understand? You see us on these podcasts. You see us in these classes. You see us on the street. Listen, shout out to Captain Yatazak in the boot kiss capital of the planet, Texas. You understand? Let's read it again. Revelation 10 and 11. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples. I mean, what? Now that we ate the book and we learned the truth, we go out to teach it. Not like these fake Israelites. Because the difference between us and these fake Israelites and these Christian Israelites, these Muslim Israelites, believe it or not, I encounter some Muslim Israelites. You know what's the difference? That we change and actually become new creatures in Christ. You understand? We learn the truth. Become new creatures. We change because we witness how much of a disgusting human being we were. It don't matter if it's just smoking cigarettes. It don't matter if because you were just eating pork. You realize that the truth says there is not one sin above another. All sin are equal. If you eat pork, you're no different than a sodomite. If you smoke a cigarette, you're the same. If you smoke a cigarette, it's the same as being in an interracial marriage, which God is against as well. You understand? There is no respecter of persons. No respecter of sinners. Now that we know the truth, guess what? Just like we had a chance to change, we have some hope. We're here to tell our people they have hope as well. We teach them the truth. Like in this class right now, on the social media platform where we are battling, letting people know, yo, contact, hey, what zone you in? This is the zone you in, no sweat. Contact the camp leader in your zone. Every day of the week, we do the same thing. Thou must prophesy again. Listen, it doesn't say you have a choice, by the way. You see when it says in Revelation 13 and 10, he that go lead into captivity must go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. It is a must. It is a duty. Now that you learn the truth, it is a duty for you to have to go teach it. What do you mean? You understand? And see it like this, right? Sisters could also help push the truth, even though it says that it is for the men to teach. The woman should not teach. I'm just paraphrasing. Guess what? You don't have to break down precepts. You don't. Asking something, be like, you share your man. How did you learn how to share man? How did you even learn that concept? You direct them to class. You give them the number of the camp leader in your zone. That's all you have to do, really. Damn, you give it, you share your man with whatever his sister's asking about it if she's single. You understand? You don't have to worry about your daughter being promiscuous while the other women do. Why? You tell them where you learn how to raise your kids the right way. You don't have to break down precepts to nobody. You tell them to come get the breakdown in class. That's how. Like, share, comment, boost the algorithm. That's how you could push the truth as well. You understand? Women could do that. Now, you as brothers, listen, I ain't even gonna say it. Brothers, put it on black. Do your 90 days, become a new man. You understand? Pastor officer says, I just spoke to my brother today, Officer 50 Kwayam. Do the same. It is a duty for you to go have to teach the truth. About to go on the streets of Toronto next Saturday, July 18th, to do what? Let's read it again. And he said unto me, thou must prophesy again before many peoples. Will be prophesying, crying out loud, and sparing not one. Will prophesy again. Thou must, Salakia, thou must, it is a must, prophesy again before many peoples and nations. Why? Because we're scattered among nations and tongues. Listen, don't be surprised if either Officer 1000 Ariar or myself switch between the French and the Creole while we're at camp, as we already did. This is what tongues mean. Tongues mean a different language. That's literally the French word for tongue is literally langue, which is interchangeable between tongue as far as your body part and the language. See, this is the gift of tongues right here, which helps you understand context without even having to look up the definition of the word or even the etymology. Y'all just don't know better, you Christians and kings. You understand? This is what we will do. Now let's go to the other precept real quick and get some of the other problems in our community, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. We'll give you the breakdown on why we're going back again to Proverbs 3 and 31. Because this is the main problem we have, right? Time after time, we did the exact same thing. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor. You see what happened? What's the brother's name again? We just lost another brother just now on July 4th. Let me get his name real quick. Bear with me 1 second. We lost another brother for that specific reason, right? Nolan Wells. Let me pull up the article. Matter of fact, let's go to the article first. Nolan Wells' body was found after a July 4th boat trip. His death has fueled speculation, grief, and racial tension. Listen, that has always been the problem with us. You understand? We always want to be part of the other nations. This is the reason why we turn our back to the Lord. Listen, coming out of Egypt, right? When we asked Aaron to melt our jewelry, make the golden calf. That was a replica of an Egyptian deity. You understand? That's what it was. I forgot. Is it y'all can look it up, the gold calf of Egypt. That's what we replicated in the wilderness. Damn, we complained to Moses about, yo, listen, we tired of being in the wilderness, eating tasteless bread, flat bread, tasteless. You know, we want to go back to Egypt. Egypt, we had fish, we had garlic, we had spices. We're in the wilderness 40 years complaining about, you know, to Moses about all types of things. In the wilderness, that's why Moses had to give us a bill of divorce, because we following after the Egyptian is still being horrible towards one another with no brotherhood. Moses said, y'all don't kill each other. Y'all just divorce, man. I'm trying to get out the wilderness. I'm trying to lead you out the wilderness. Y'all trying to kill each other. Listen, the goal is to stay alive, not to kill one another. You understand? That's the goal. Y'all complain to me about, you know, we want to bow down to a God that we could touch and feel and whatnot. That is crazy work. That's why y'all melted the gold earrings. Y'all want to eat like the Egyptians again. You know, y'all want to act towards one another like the Egyptians acted towards you, and now you want to kill one another. Every time it's about following the other nations. We did a class on that already. Adam followed the other nations. You understand? Adam and Eve followed the other nations. The 12 tribes follow the other nations. In the book of Judges, we follow the other nations. You know, what else? Listen, name it. The kingdom got split. The northern kingdom followed the other nations. Solomon married the other nations. It's always about joining the other nations. You know where what we got there? We lost Nolan Wells. Why? Because we followed the other nations. Now, I brought this out last week, right? The heathens that is over us right now is the worst of the heathens. He's the worst of them all. You understand? And this was the celebration of his freedom from his own people, by the way. Which is, I don't understand how that makes sense. Independence from your own people. Who did you free yourself from? You're not slaves to Britain, but we were slaves to you in 1776, on July 4th, 1776. And that's the sad part of this, because this brother Nolan Wells, there's a picture. I don't know if you can see in the article, right? But there's going to be a picture with him. Well, that's the picture. They just cropped it. They just cropped the picture. If you know that picture, right? There's 3 white people in that picture. Those are his 3 white friends he went on a trip with. And coincidental, not so coincidental though. You understand? He's the only one that ain't make it back. He's the only one. And guess what happened? I think a day or two later, they all deleted their social media. One of these white kids' father is apparently a judge. And they all lawyered up. That is not surprising. But this is one of the problems that we face in our community. Why? Because you want to follow after these other heathens as opposed to following after our code of conduct, after our constitution, after our laws, statutes, and commandments. Listen, the laws and commandments, it says when we follow them, everybody looks at us like we're smart. It is not smart to follow after people that lynched, who celebrated the day and year where they were able to lynch you. In one of the most era of white America, which is them making America great again, being openly racist, doing the most, we go out and celebrate their holiday, the holiday where they felt, listen, they had a Klan rally on July 4th in Washington, D.C. They had a whole Klan rally. They were wearing shiesties, right? They marched in Washington, D.C. They had a Klan rally, and we have the idea to celebrate with them. You know what they celebrate? Every July 4th, they celebrate the freedom of being able to lynch niggas, spics, and savages. That's what July 4th is all about. And then they want to talk about, well, white people, America. Some cat said under a brother, what is it? The brother in Cali, I think Ibadiala, right? He made a video. Some white man said, yo, nobody told this cat that the U.S. freed America thanks to us separating from the British. See, that's how dumb white people are. You want to call black people dumb, Mexicans uneducated, the natives are just savages. Well, guess what? Britain abolished slavery before America, in case you didn't know. Not that it makes them better. I'm just saying, y'all don't know nothing. Y'all just want to justify you being over us in America. So we should be thankful to our slave master. And guess who did that? The slave masters. On July 4th, 1776. The slave masters, while they were celebrating Carnivale or Carnival, that you call it today, during the Caribbean. Those same slave masters are telling us today that we should be thankful for them. They brought civilization, right? These are the slave masters that are telling us we should be thankful for them ending slavery. While the real thing is, the reason why white people died to abolish slavery is because there was an opposite side that fought to keep slavery alive. White people, they don't tell you that though, but they fought to keep slavery alive. You understand? And again, what we do, we turn around and we join after them and we walk in their ways. Let's go back to the precept. Bear with me 1 second. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none. Not one. Choose none. July 1st, it says choose none. July 4th, choose none of his ways. That's what it says. We should not fall after the oppressor and choose any of their ways. Don't listen. You do realize that you could light up fireworks any day of the year, right? You can have a party. Matter of fact, we lit some fireworks during the Passover, which is our July 4th. This is our day of independence, the Passover, the Lord's annual Passover. You were in Houston, Texas, lighting up fireworks. What do you mean? You understand? You don't have to follow after white people to light up fireworks. You don't have to follow after white people to party. What's next feast day coming up? Bear with me 1 second. Next feast day coming up is the memorial of blowing of trumpets. The first day of the 7th month, Friday, September 11th. Good, that's poetic. September 11th, we will have a party. September 11th, 2026. You can read more about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. That's the next high holy day. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to feast. If you want to light up some fireworks that day, go ahead and light up some fireworks that day. You understand? Want to feast, feast. But guess what? It says again, Proverbs 3:31, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. You see, the problem is this, right? You choose all the ways of the oppressor, knowing the ways of marriage, the ways how to cope with situations, the way how to deal with internal beef or disagreement, the way how you raise your children. You bring this up every time. The reason why you're raising your daughter to be a whore, Salakia, is because you were taught by white women on how to be a woman. The way white women are women is they're whores. They're literally female dogs. That's how. Why? Because the white man is a dog, and they are the woman that they want the dog to be impressed by. Listen, that's all it is. And they made you believe with feminism was all about women. No, it was all about them being the whores that their husband is in love with. Therefore, they needed numbers. They needed to make noise. They needed to be seen. You understand? How can you not be seen when you're around black people? They made you believe it's about women. Now they're surrounded by blacks and Hispanics. How do you expect them not to be seen? We're the people that march all the time. They made you march with them. That's all they did. And now they have what they wanted. And they don't really care, because all that womanhood went out the window when they elected a misogynistic, pedophilic, sexual abuser. Yeah, Donald Trump had to pay. He just had to pay a fine. Just now for sexually assaulting some women, I think in a clothing store or something like that. He's guilty. And he was on the Epstein's Island. And he was on live TV, says grab him by the box. All these white women, they voted for him. All these feminist women, they voted for him. You understand? But guess who's left with the damage of being a deviant when it's not their culture? You are, Blacks, Latino, and Native. And it's not just the women. The men ain't no better, because there wouldn't be no whores if men didn't love whores. That's why the white woman became a whore in the first place, because her white man loves prostitutes. Therefore, what did our men do? Our men followed in the footsteps of men like Martin Luther King, who wanted to be a white man, wanted to have the white man's trophy right by his side, in his bed. What is the white man's trophy? A white prostitute. You understand? This is why you, as a Black, Latino, or Native, you love sexually depraved women, because the white man loves sexually depraved women. Our women become sexually depraved because their women decide to be the sexually depraved woman that their white husband is attracted to. That is why. What did we just read? Proverbs 3:31. Envy thou not the oppressor. Listen, today it's like, yo, you look at sisters, you're so gorgeous and beautiful, And like, why are you a slut? The moment you realize, yo, she's, you know, she's promiscuous, just let alone being promiscuous or dressing skimpy or however you call it, it's unattractive. And now you're doing the most. You're going beyond that. You're some of them making music like Cardi B and what's the sister name, Megan Thee Stallion, talking about, you know, how moist their private part is. Why are you portraying yourself like that? It's not attractive. We're breaking it over here. We're breaking the cycle. You could be a most beautiful woman, you understand? But the moment it's like you know, you carry yourself like these sisters like Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, who else? Sexy Red and them, you're like, damn. Yeah, y'all, you ain't all that. You know, it don't matter how you don't, your body shape do not matter. You're not a woman like a man would want to have kids with. A lot of y'all have kids because it's just an accident, you know? And it takes one time, really. One time unprotected. Even sometimes the protection don't even help. But that's why a lot of y'all have kids, because these men loves whores. Because they want, both of y'all want to be like your oppressor, and you envying the ways of your oppressor. Let's read it one last time. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Which includes what? Which includes integration. All time was just about deviancy? No. Our oppressor made you believe that you had to integrate. Made you believe that you're better off integrating. When it's the total opposite. It's like integration is nothing new. You know, we did that in the Maccabees. We integrated with the Grecians. I don't like even to call them Grecians. We call them Macedonians, because that's what Alexander the Greek, you know, Ptolemy were. They were Macedonians, right? We're told to integrate with them. You know what happened? They slaughtered us. They lynched us. They committed a genocide. Salakia. That's what happened. Now we do the same. We enter to their house. We leave our rules outside and we abide by their rules. And then, what's the brother name again? Nolan Wells has been found unalive. That's what happened. I think people miss the concept of integration. Integration, literally, let's look into the etymology of integration. Let's do that, right? Let's look into the etymology of integration, because we look up definitions over here. We look up definitions and listen. Let's go into integration. Let's look up the etymology of integration, right? Let me see how I can share my screen better. Yeah, that should do it for now. Integration. Salakia. Let me see if I can do it like this. Let's do it like this for now. Integration stems from the 1610s Latin integratio, meaning renewal or making whole, built from integrare. Ultimately, it traces back to integer, whole or untouched, and Proto-Indo-European root tag. The modern societal sense of desegregation emerged in the 1930s. Now, what is segregation? Because integration is the opposite of segregation. You're going to see why it means to make whole, right? Segregation is the enforced or voluntary separation of individuals or groups, typically by race, class, or ethnic background. It involves dividing people in daily life, such as in housing, education, and public space. We don't even have to read the whole thing. The point is this. Why is integration meaning to make whole? Is because segregation is separated. How do you make whole? You bring people together, quote unquote. Right? But bringing us with our oppressor divided us even more. It divided us within ourselves. Why? Because we entered into their houses. Entering into their houses, we have to abide by their rules. Our rules are left out the door. That's what happened with integration. You understand? Our rules were left out the door. But according to our rules, according to our constitution, Nolan Wells should have never trusted these 3 white boys. Matter of fact, we'll get that, and then we're going to go into what the law says, what our law says according to our constitution. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, right? Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, it says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Nolan had 3 white friends, right? He had 3 white friends. Guess what? Just like iron rusted, and over time, iron will show the rust as a natural process, so did they show their wickedness. It was just a matter of time. Listen, you can have, listen, perfect example, Eminem. Eminem grew up around black people in Detroit. Eminem was probably the safest white boy in Detroit growing up. Listen, every single heathen that grows up around black people is safe. If you're an Arab and you grow up around black people, you're safe. If you're African, you grow up around blacks and Latinos, you're safe. If you're Chinese, you're safe. If you're white, you're the safest white boy on the planet because you grew up in the ghetto around blacks, Latinos, and natives. You're safe. But when the opposite, when we turn the tables, though, Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, it says, never trust thine enemy. Never. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Just like iron will rust, so just like rust will show over time, so the wickedness of our enemies. It is inevitable. There's nothing you could do about that. You understand? The only thing you could have done about that is to separate spiritually, morally from these people. I'm going to show you how. You had to abide by the laws that were given to you. Let's see what the law says. Listen, if it's a law, that means, just like we read at the beginning, it's a must for us to teach. It is a duty for us to teach the truth. Once we learn the truth, it is a duty for you to obey the law that was given to you. And like these heathens said, it's obeying the law makes us the wisest nation on the planet. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 7. Sanctify yourselves. Leviticus 20 and 7 says, sanctify yourselves, therefore, and be ye holy. Listen, the law says that we are to be separate. To sanctify is to render holy. That's what sanctify means, to make holy. And the word holy comes from the Hebrew word kodash, which means to be set apart, separated, or like we just read, segregated. You know, segregation would have prevented the death of Nolan Wells, right? You know that, right? Oh, y'all didn't? No sweat. Segregation would have prevented the death of Nolan Wells. You understand? And that's the sad part, is that our people is still convinced, like Charleston White, that there are some good white people. There might be. But you will never be able to tell. You know why? Because just like the Asians, all white people look the same. It's just like the Asians. You can't tell which Asian eats rat and which one don't eat rat. You know, you can't tell which white man is good, which white man is a racist that will hang you tomorrow, tonight. You can't tell. Therefore, what should you do? Leviticus 20 and 7, sanctify yourselves, therefore. You should render yourself holy. And be ye holy, For I am the Lord your God. Meaning, be separate, man. You're going to take the chance to lose another kid? Listen, what did Nolan Wells do at school? Hey, Shalom says, Yahweh Shema, Thaba, Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Let's see what Nolan did at school. Damn. Apparently, he graduated. Nolan Wells graduated from Ocean Springs High School in coastal Mississippi, town of Ocean Springs, just east of Biloxi. Does it say what he was about to major in? It says football player, da-da-da-da-da. After graduating, Wells enrolled in Southwest Mississippi Community College, where he was a wide receiver of their football team, according to the Associated Press. Let's see. It doesn't say what he majored in, but listen. The point is this, right? Who knows what he majored in? The point is he could have graduated after from college and then went on to university. That's a future black doctor that was lynched. That's the point. A future black doctor was lynched. Why? Because he abided by the white man's culture as opposed to his culture. His culture told him, separate yourself. The white man's culture told him to celebrate the day that his people were being lynched from trees. Mississippi. Damn, if I'm not mistaken, Mississippi have alligators too, right? You know where I'm going with this. Let me see. Let me look it up on my phone. Mississippi, because people talk about Florida for the most part. South Georgia. Damn, Mississippi. Gator bit also refers to Mississippi. Listen, on July 4th, 1776, his ancestors were being fed to alligators. You understand? His ancestors were being fed to alligators. That's what happened. That could have been prevented. All he had to do is abide by the rules of his God, not the God that colonized them. The rules of the one and only living God. That would have prevented him from being unalive, man. A lot of us. We just lost a black doctor. Listen, to all you sisters out here looking for a good man, yet supporting the white man, you're supporting the man that killed your potential good black husband. That's it. Y'all don't see that? You want to tell we need, the kids are the future and this and that. Guess what? The kids are the future. But you mess up their future by telling them that you can overcome racism when you can't. You trying to overcome racism is the reason Nolan Wells died. You trying to overcome racism is the reason Carmelo Anthony is serving 35 years in jail. Overcoming racism and coming together as the human race, as you call it, is the reason why, what's the brother name again? Cyrus Cormac Belton got shot in the back. That's why. That's you overcoming racism. And of course, overcoming racism, I'm saying this in the most sarcastic way possible because there is no such thing. Salaki, someone I was on the Tread app, right? Someone said, racism is a made-up concept. Only white people can be racist and this and that. That sounds like, and I don't want to sound tribal, but really like a Judite to Black American misconception. It's coming from the islands. The Chinese despise. Do you know how many Chinese people oppress Jamaicans? The Chinese, they despise the West Indian people, the Caribbean. The Chinese despise us. The Arabs despise us. Who else? The East Indian are oppressing Trinidad, Guyana, Suriname like never before. And a lot of East Indians are darker than us. You understand? It's not about complexion. It's about people. And this is the problem that we face in the community. This is why the second part today, listen, whatever problem you got, the Bible have the solution. But this is one of the main problems that we got that we don't understand yet, and the reason why we're so destroyed today. Let's go to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. Again, questions, comments, put it in the chat. It's the book of Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people, there again, it's talking about a specific people or nation. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. What is our knowledge and wisdom and understanding is the laws. Where do you find these? In the Bible. Noah Wells died for lack of knowledge. Carmelo Anthony got 35 years because his parents, his family was convinced that everything would be fine with an all-white jury because of lack of knowledge. Charleston White still believes that they are good white people, that he never met a bad white person. Why? Because of lack of knowledge. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because thou has rejected the knowledge. Because you say, I ain't listening to these crazy niggas on the streets dressed like Power Rangers telling me the white man is the devil. That's why. Because you don't want to listen. You want to reject the knowledge. You know why your disease-ridden slut? Because you refuse to listen when we tell you sex is marriage and you have to stay with that one man. Now you piled up baby daddies. You probably have AIDS and the monkeypox and all sorts of diseases. Why? Because you decided to have a whole phase. That's why. You understand? You know why you're in jail right now? Because you got to get it how you live. Isn't it what they say in Louisiana? You got to get it how you live. You know. Do you know why? There's a brother a couple years ago. He got shot in the face by his white girlfriend. I think that was even his baby mom, the mom of his kids. He got shot in the face while she was allegedly dead. It's not even funny. It's just, I don't even know how this is not treated as a hate crime, right? She was allegedly cleaning her shotgun and accidentally shot him in the face. If you're cleaning your firearm, why is it even loaded in the first place? He blew his brains out, man. You know that could have been prevented if it wasn't for lack of knowledge. Could have been prevented. It's as easy as that. Jeezy's marriage is good. Let me not start with Jeezy, or what's the name? The golfer there, Tiger Woods. You know, The Rock don't even acknowledge. The Rock, the wrestler turned actor, The Rock barely acknowledges his father's side of the family. All you hear about The Rock, he's about to play in the movie Moana, the live action, is about him being Samoan or whichever. I think his mom is Samoan or Hawaiian, right? Either way, he don't talk about his father's side of the family. Damn it, like he despises it. Damn it, like he don't push it. Why? Because of lack of knowledge, man. Guess what, The Rock? Regardless of how, how many tribal tattoos you have, or what they call it, the haki or the haka that they do over there, with the same people of New Zealand, Maori, Tongan, what else, Samoan, all these people, right? Either way, you're still a nigga, just so you know. And your knowledge is not within the knowledge of these islanders, these Pacific Islanders. Your knowledge is right here in this Bible. You are part of the greatest people on earth. You understand? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because thou hast rejected the knowledge. God didn't just reject you. That's a lie. That's what the lie that the Muslims tell, the Christians say, the Catholics. God don't deal with the nation of Israel no more. It says in the Quran, yes, the nation of Israel was chosen, but they rejected God. So God rejected them. No, that's a lie. It was a temporary punishment. Temporary. That's why there's a new covenant. You understand? I'm going to finish the verse, but the point is this. We are the one who turn our backs on the Lord. We're the one. God didn't just say, yeah, I'm going to reject them. You know what happened again, right? When Moses went up on the mountain, we told Aaron, yo, listen, we don't know why I went with Moses. Make us make us a God that we could bow down to and we could shake hands with. So he made a golden calf, a physical image, a graven image, a molten image of whatever they wanted to worship and bow down to. And that's to show you again that our problem is following our oppressor, because even that is not something that they made up, from their mind or whatnot. They just imagine a golden calf. It is literally the representation of an Egyptian god. I think it's Apis or something like that. The Egyptians used to worship cows. What else? Yeah, listen. Whatever deity you worshipped, everything you did that's against the Lord came from the heathens. That's the point. You rejected, you turn your back on the Lord. Adam and Eve turned their backs on the Lord to follow the heathens. Since Adam and Eve have been doing the same thing, it's no different. And where are we now? Coming out of slavery, still getting lynched, still getting killed by white people who celebrate the day they were able to lynch us without consequences. That's what it is. You understand? The solution is simple, man. We need to turn back to the Lord and separate again. Why? Because that's our law. Let's finish Hosea 4 and 6. Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee. Listen, you turn your back on me, I ain't no sweat. The Lord said, don't let the door hit you where I split you. It's crazy, Salakia. That's God said, Shalom. You turn your back, Shalom. Let me know when let me know when you're tired of being, lynched and fed to alligators and things. Just let me know. Call me. That's what the Lord said. Of course, that means sarcastic, but you get the point, right? The Lord never rejected us. He's waiting for us to come back to him. Patiently waiting. It says what? The Lord is long suffering for everybody to come to repentance. I'm slightly paraphrasing. Imagine that. You say, the door is open. You just refuse to come back home. You're trying every way, possible to think, I'm going to get out of this oppression. I'm going to show you right. I'm going to prove you wrong. Listen, the Lord gave you the test. What do you mean? You're proving him wrong already. He's like, I know you're going to be able to do it, because now, let me not just paraphrase this part, because I like this part too, right? It's in the book of Judges, I think, or Joshua. Let me go to the book of Judges at the end of chapter 2, because you pissed him off. He's like, I know, so I got you. Watch. Let's start at verse 19, and then we go back to Hosea. Go to Judges chapter 2, verse 19. And it came to pass, when the judge was dead, that they returned and corrupted themselves more than their fathers. You understand? How do we corrupt ourselves? Because we follow after the heathens. That's after the battles with all these heathens, and following other gods to serve them. Where do we get these other gods? We don't know nothing. All we know is the Lord God of our fathers. Where do we get these other gods? We look left, we look right. On the left, they bow down to rocks. On the right, they worship trees or whatever people bow down to, right? Salakia. And to bow down unto them, they cease not from their own doings, nor from their stubborn way. Meaning we started and we didn't stop. It's not like, you know what? We seen it was wrong, man, and we stopped doing it. My bad. I just wanted to try, and it's, it's not for me. No, what y'all did, y'all smoked weed, y'all liked it, y'all kept smoking. That's what it says. You worship the rock. It's like, yo, it makes you feel good because now you're not being held accountable for whatever you're doing. So you're not stopping because you don't see anything wrong in doing it. The Lord said, the Lord is a jealous God, man. He said, yo, don't worship any other God before me. I don't care if it makes you feel good. You know? You say, listen, you know how, damn, Shalaki, you know how there's, give me 1 second, Babu Kusha. Salaki, Ruby was about to make some noise, man. You know how, damn, I lost my my train of thought. The point is this, right? Yeah. So you know how serving the Lord doesn't always feel comfortable. So y'all can't complain. If you serve the Lord, be ready to be uncomfortable. How? Abraham was about to sacrifice his one and only son. Y'all think y'all suffered? Christ suffered. There's a precept that says, yo, you ain't suffer like Christ, man. Like a lot of us were like, yo, it's not easy to endure. I'm not saying every battle is easy. You don't have to complain, but you're not suffering like Christ suffered. You don't suffer like Abraham was about to show you what's true suffering. Abraham put out Ishmael against his own will. You understand? Abraham put out Ishmael against his own will. Because he loved the Lord more than anything else. Y'all can put down the weed because it makes you feel good. Come on, man. Let's keep reading. Verse 20. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. You understand? The anger of the Lord was vexed, man. The Lord was, yo, listen. The Lord was vexed to a whole different level. That's why it says, and the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. The man was vexed. Why? Because you have to do one simple thing. You just don't worship other gods. As opposed, you see what it says, you didn't turn away from your wrongdoings. As opposed to be like, yo, listen, damn, I'll try to smoke weed. It's like, yo, yeah, you know what? It's wrong. I'm sorry, man. I should never have done that. Y'all went back to it like, yo, it ain't that bad, man. You know? You want to sleep with a prostitute. You want to sleep with a heathen. Forget about a prostitute. You want to sleep with a heathen woman. You want to sleep with a white woman. You want to sleep with a Chinese. You're like, yo, you know, hey, it's different. It ain't that bad. That's what Solomon did the same thing later on. Like, you know, it ain't that bad. Who did that? Samson. It ain't that bad, right? God said, yo, you have 12 tribes to choose from. You want to settle for some disgusting, filthy, you know, being? Like for me, it doesn't even count. For me, I count them as spittle. You went for that? Y'all could have went to the what's the call again? The fountain of youth. The fountain of youth in a woman, man. You don't see these women as women. The Lord see them as, you know, spittle. You don't even see them as women. You could have went for one of the princesses of Zion. You went and settled for some dog. And the Lord is vexed, man. Like he's giving you a what you call a dime piece. He's giving you a dime piece, giving you a 10 out of 10. You went to settle for a 2. You went to settle for a tree, not even a tree. You went to settle for a 1.5. The Lord is mad, man. The Lord was vexed. Let's keep reading. And the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel. And he said, because that this people has transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their fathers, which was a covenant, yo, just listen to me and you get everything you want. If you obey, yo, you see all this land that's fertile. You see all these people, you're going to be over that land and over all the people. You're going to have dominion, which is rulership, power. Y'all sacrifice power for a plant that's going to kill you. Y'all sacrifice power for what? Whatever manner of sin y'all doing. All manners of sin. It don't matter if it's drugs. It don't matter if it's, you know, heathen women, deviancy. whatever manner of sin you do, you sacrifice power and dominion just for your lust because it made you feel good. Because now you could be in the Christian church, you could be a homosexual. There's homosexual pastors. There's Decepticon pastors. I have to say that for YouTube, right? You could be anything and not be held accountable. You know, you could be that. You understand? That's why you decide to not follow the Lord, because the Lord, you're going to be put at some point in your life in a difficult position where it's uncomfortable. Like Abraham. Abraham had to kill his own son. He didn't say, yo, I didn't want to kill my son. Nah, I waited 100 years. Now I have to kill my son. He didn't argue with the Lord, man. You know, he had to kick out his son. He had to kick out Ishmael. He didn't want to. He's like, don't worry about it. He's like, you know what? No sweat. He was sad too. Why? Because he loved his son just like any father would love his kid, right? But hey, he had to do it. You're going to be put in a position where you're going to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. You know? But guess what? If you follow the Lord, you're going to get over it, man. It's better to follow the Lord, you know, being uncomfortable and just doing whatever you feel like. You know who else do whatever they feel like? Homosexuals. You know who else do whatever they feel like? The people on Epstein's Island. They did whatever they felt like doing. You know who do whatever they feel like? Donald Trump, a convicted sex offender. If you want to be like these people, who am I to stop you? Who am I to stop? I'm telling you, you're wrong. And what we have to do is to follow the Lord. You understand? Person said, what? Like going to the club. What do you mean going to the club? Are you asking going to the club is a sin? If you go to a strip club, listen, yeah, you're out here looking for prostitutes. Yeah, don't go to the strip club. You're doing the same thing. Strip club is a whorehouse. Let's put it like that. The person said that on the Beagle, right? Don't go to a strip club. That's why the Lord was vexed at. He says the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel for things of such nature. Any manner of sin. It don't matter which manner of sin. Any manner of sin. There's not one sin above another. You understand? And he said, because that this people had transgressed my covenant, which I commanded their father, and have not hearkened unto my voice, which is what? To follow the laws. I also will not henceforth drive out any from before them of the nations which Joshua left when he died. So you think you're proving the Lord wrong by trying to find solutions. But the Lord is testing you right now, because now, as opposed to removing all these nations, these Canaanites and all the nations that were around us, he said, you know what? Hey, listen, no sweat. I have the ultimate test for you, because I'm giving you the easy route. I'm removing all these heathen nations and I'm giving you the easy route, right? But what do you want to do? You want to be hard-headed and no sweat. Here's what's going to happen. We're not going to remove these nations no more. Verse 22, that through them I may prove Israel, whether they will keep the way of the Lord to walk therein, as their fathers did keep it or not. You have to prove yourself now. The Lord made it easy for you. Now you want to be difficult? No sweat. You know what he did? He said, I'm not removing these nations no more. Now you have to deal with it. Now you have to prove to me, are you going to follow me or follow them? I'm trying to make it easy for you. You want to run after them. Guess what? Now you don't even have to run and look for them. They're right next to you. So either you follow me or you follow them. You don't even have to come to you to destroy you. They're right next door. They're your neighbor. They're your next door neighbor, right here. Celebrating 4th of July in Mississippi. What are you going to do? Are you going to go with them? Or are you going to follow me and be holy as I commanded you? You ain't proving the Lord. You're proving the Lord right. Yeah, it's not about proving him right or wrong. It's about proving yourself that you're going to do the right thing. You're trying to prove that, you don't need nothing. Listen, the Lord told you, just listen, man. All you have to do is obey. You want to make it difficult? No sweat. You want to play on the the most difficult level of the game. I'm gonna just do that. As opposed to removing these heathens, now you have to dwell with them. You chase the influence. Now you're right by the influence. Do as you will. You know. But what I want you to do is to listen to me. What I want you to do is to follow me and follow me only. You don't have to go after them no more. They're right next door. You know. Let me see what this person said in the chat. Listen, this idiot in the chat said about going to the club. He's talking about Command John YAHANNA was sitting in the club, shaking hands with Neo. Listen, Neo and what's his name again? Waka Flocka came to the club and they big up Commanding General YAHANNA. See, that's the thing. You little cowards, right? Y'all go to the club to celebrate your Passover. You understand? Y'all go to the strip club and celebrate your Passover. That's what y'all did. I just noticed who was in the chat. It's a sodomite in the chat. No sweat. It's a groupie in the chat, right? He's just jealous because he's not being recognized by the people in general, right? There's a little groupie in the chat. No sweat. Little sodomite in the chat. We'll just ignore the trolls in the chat, you know. But they jealous. Why? Because listen, they don't get recognized like they would want to. That's why. Hey, Lord be with these little sodomites, man. You know, and we know the Lord is not with sodomites. Let's keep going with the class. Let's go back to Hosea chapter 4 and 6. Again, Hosea chapter 4, verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. That's the problem we have in our community. You know, because we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. Why? Because thou hast rejected the knowledge. Because, the Lord gave us instructions and we decide to still follow the other nations. That's why. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. Why have you forgotten it? Because, again, integration, which is what we always did. If you go in the book of Judges chapter 3, it says there's like, 3 different captivities we went under different people, the Moabites, the Philistines, I think the Amalekites, I forgot. Why? Because we disobeyed the Lord. Why? Because we wanted to be like them. We integrated with them. When you integrate, you leave your rules outside, and the people who you integrate with, you go into their house and you abide by their rules. You follow their gods, their custom. You eat like them. You sleep like them. You breathe like them. And you forget all about how you used to live, your way of life. Because your way of life, you have to separate. But you don't want to separate. It's cool to be with everybody. That's why. I will also forget thy children. The Lord said, I no sweat, bet. He said, no sweat, don't worry about it. Just know that this is the punishment that will come. You know why? Because all you have to do is listen. You didn't want to? Well, I got you. All I had to do is this. This would have saved Nolan Wells. This would have given a better chance to Carmelo Anthony. This would have saved, what's his name? Cyrus Carmack Belton. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. This is our law, right? Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy. You are a holy people unto me. Why? Because I, the Lord, am holy. You understand? That's why. You have to be a separate people, a separate nation. You have to segregate. That's in the law. You can't want to integrate. All you Christian, that's why you want the laws to be done away with, because it goes against integration. You hate your own people. How? Because integration is all about the unaliving of brothers and sisters like Nolan Wells. That's why. You understand? It's that simple. This is the solution, man. And we come back to the Lord, as we always did. Listen, we bring this out all the time. What is it? The book of Judges, 10, verse 14 to 16. We cry unto the Lord and we ask for forgiveness. You go back to the Lord. That's the solution. Solution to all of our problems is to go back to the Lord. This is how we solve the problems. We go by this record. What record? The Bible. The 1611 King James of the Bible is the Genesis, the Apocrypha, the New Testament has a solution to every single problem facing our community. The number one is that we follow the heathens. That's the number one problem. That's why we treat each other the way we treat each other. We read last week that we should go to a brother and a brother alone. I'm going to go to you and you alone if I have an issue with you. So you have your issue with your spouse, do the same thing. You understand? There's ways on how we raise our kids, right? Everything. This is the blueprint for everything right here. But again, Hosea 4:6 says, you have rejected the knowledge. We're talking about, we have to be united together. There's unity right here, right? It says in our knowledge, according to our Constitution, there is unity in the Bible for our community. Let me read it for you. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, gather yourselves together. And see how stubborn we are? It has to say it twice. Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together. O nation not desired. You understand? It's not a coincidence, man. It says, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Twice. Why? Because the Lord knows you're a stubborn people. The Lord knows. It says throughout the Bible, love thy neighbor. Probably says it 1,000 times. You have to be reminded that you have to love one another as yourselves. You have to be reminded all the time. It says, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O human race. Nah. O mankind. Nah. O people of color. Nah, man. O melanated people, like to say this, melanated people. Nah. It says, gather yourselves together. Yea. Gather together, O nation. Singular. O nation. Again, it says nation singular, not nations plural. O nation not desired. What is the only nation on the face of the earth that is not desired? So-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, who are the real biblical Jews of antiquity. That is the nation not desired. We're not desired by the whites. We're not desired. We're not desired by the Caucasians. We're not desired by the Arabs or the Ishmaelites. We're not desired by the East Indians, by the Iranians, Iranis, however you want to call it. We're not desired by the Africans. We're not desired by the Chinese, Japanese, Filipinos, Laotians. We're not desired by nobody. If I'm not mistaken, I mentioned The Rock earlier. The Rock, mother's side of the family, they didn't like his father's side. We're not desired by nobody. This is talking about Blacks, Latinos, and Native. We have to come together. You understand? Y'all want to talk about unity. You cannot be united with the people that divide you. How does that even make sense? You can't. It says, gather together, O nation, singular, not desired. You can't gather yourselves with a nation that is here to divide you. You can't do that. You tried. What happened? Nolan Wells died. Cyrus Carmack Belton got shot in the back. Carmelo Anthony got 35 years. How many example of beautiful Black and Latina and Native sister get into a relationship with a white man and end up in a body bag? You tried to have multiple nations, plural, gathered together. And this is what happened. We died. It's time for our nation, our people, singular. Blacks, Latinos, and Natives are the same people. They are Israelites of the 12th tribe. It's time for us to gather together and separate from our oppressor, man. There's no choice. You understand? Because time is coming short. Time is short. Let's get real quick before we end the class. Let's go to Salaki. Damn, I had like 1,000 precepts for y'all. Let's go to bear with me 1 second. Yeah, let's go to 2 Peter. Is it 2 Peter? Yeah, I think it's 2 Peter. 2 Peter. Nice. 3 and 9. Book of 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 9. The Lord is not slack with his concerning his promise. Listen, God is not slack, meaning, you are a procrastinator. You are lazy. The Lord is not. The verse before it said, a day as the Lord is like 1,000 years. The Lord is not slack, man. You are. Because you tarrying and seeking the Lord. It says what? Ecclesiasticus, 7 and 5, tarry not in seeking the Lord. That's what you're doing. The Lord is not slack, though. The Lord doesn't tarry in seeking when it comes to his promise. It says the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as men count slackness. You're the procrastinator. He's not. But is long suffering to usward, meaning it's time for us to wake up right now, today. You understand? We're going to see where it says, gather together, O nation not desired, before it's too late. He's waiting on us. Even you see how Shalom says, Yahweh Shema, Thabash, Yahweh Shai. You see how the war calmed down a bit, like gas prices went down. Don't see it as the war is just dying down, right? See it as the Lord is giving us more time to gather our people. See it like that. Time is already short. Guess what? You just got an extension. About to send Christ yesterday. He's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to give you more time, man. There's about to be an influx of 350,000 Haitians kicked out the U.S., Venezuelans. Bring them to the truth. Listen, it's time is short, man. Let me give you an extension. Why? Not because I want you to suffer more, but let's keep reading why. But is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish. You see how it says 2/3 have to die? He don't want nobody to die. So in the UPK, yeah, we do read it says 2/3 will die, will be consumed. We still fight for everyone to be saved, for everyone to come to repentance, for nobody to perish, burned by my mom went through a fire when I was a kid. I seen the damage of a fire on the human flesh. Now imagine a nuclear bomb. You see fire raining from the sky. It says in Zechariah that your eyeballs and your tongue will melt in your head. I see how much pain my mom was in. Now imagine how much pain that you'll be just burning, standing up. Boy, the Lord said, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. He's giving us more time, man, for all of us to come to repentance. You understand? Let me get one. I think 1-2 precept real quick. What is it? Romans chapter 13. Romans chapter 13, verse 11. We're going to end the class. Get ready for John Mahaman scripture breakdown. This is the rook of Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, now it is high time to awake out of sleep. It's time for you to come into these classes. It's time for you to do your 90 days. Talking about that, click on the sign in and sign out link in the class if you're on the YouTube or Facebook. It's high time right now. It's not in 2 weeks. It's not in 2 weeks you start smoking cigarettes. A lot of y'all are like, yo, I'm gonna start smoking cigarettes. This is my last blunt. It's always going to be your last blunt until the last blunt. I pray you understand. Nobody really understands this. It's always going to be the last blunt until the last blunt. And if your last blunt happens to be when Christ comes back, boy, hey, hey, Lord be with you, man. And knowing the time that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. You see all these signs that Christ spoke about. Now it's closer than you think. Wars, rumors of, it's not about rumors. You can't say rumors of wars no more. We could have talked about that a couple of years ago. Russia is taking back Ukraine. Iran is in the war. Saudi Arabia is the whole Middle East is in turmoil right now. Canada, the US, all these countries are about to join the war. It's not about rumors of wars no more. The war is there. It's all about when will it expand to America? When should we expect the bomb to drop to Canada? When should we expect, a bomb to drop in the US? It's not a matter of will it, but when. You understand? Let's read the next verse real quick. Romans 13 and 12. The night is far spent. Meaning what? Darkness is over. The day is at hand. We're coming out of darkness. You understand? Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. Where do you get the armor of light? Not in the Christian church. In the Christian church, damn, I seen a crazy video. I was about to tell you, in the Christian church, y'all put on the rainbow cape. Y'all put on the slut costume. But these people do not wear clothes. I forgot about that. There was a march. Where was it? People were surprised. There was a march somewhere in the US. These sodomites were marching naked in front of kids in the streets. That happens every year in the city of Toronto. City of Toronto, during the Rainbow Pride Month, they ride their bikes naked in front of kids downtown Toronto. That's why camp was clipped, last time. Why? Because they had a dyke parade that literally says dyke parade. I kid you not. They had a dyke parade. The next day they had another sodomite parade, right in front of kids. This is definitely not the armor of light. You know where they got that? The Christian church, the Roman Catholic Church. That's where they got that. That's where they got it. Listen, where do you get the armor of light? I'm gonna tell you where, right? This is the last precept. I'm gonna give you where to get the armor of light. In the book of Ezekiel, chapter 11 to 16. This is where you get your armor of light. Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 16. Therefore say, thus said the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, wherever you are, like you read in the beginning, right? When you learn the truth, you eat this book, you have to go teach it. That's what we do as men. We pass our officer's test. Now we're licensed to teach. We're anointed as priests of the Lord and the commanding general YAHANNA. You sisters could go do the same as well, but not breaking down the scriptures. But you could direct people where to get these scriptures broken down. You understand? You could tell them, what is it? Raki, I think, what is it? A sister Salem is in there too, and other sisters. You could tell them, yo, come into class, man. They don't know they don't have a UPK in their zone like Officer IDR and I did. We had to raise the zone up from the ground. You know, you could do that. Tell them, ISUPK this. They speak French, Creole, Spanish, Portuguese. We literally speak in tongues, like I said, to do in Revelation 10 and 10. Go teach them in 10 and 11. Go teach them in these tongues, man. Next week, I say, je vais refaire la même classe en français pareillement. Si officier derrière doit le faire, officier derrière va le faire en créole. Tous les dimanches avec officier Tazar, il le fait en créole pareillement. You know, y'all could look up I.S.U.P.K Sao Paulo. We have the classes in Portuguese, in Brazilian Portuguese. There is no excuses for you to not be able to get the truth, man. YouTube is about to come out with a new feature that the class will be translated for you. You know? So you could do the same. Tell them, go. I know how to raise my kid not to be a slut and not to be a homosexual. Where do you get that? It's so difficult these days. Well, I attend the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Maybe you should check it out. I don't eat pork, not because it's a dirty animal. All animals are dirty, but God said not to. Oh, the Passover, by the way, I don't go to the 4th of July, but I do light up fireworks at the Passover, as we did in Houston. What is the next feast again? Next feast is the memorial of blowing of trumpets. Light up fireworks then. Trust me, there's not going to be a white man in sight to lynch you. I guarantee you that. Matter of fact, the Midwest Fire Weekend is coming up, Chicago, July 30th to August 2nd. There's not going to be one Caucasian man in sight to lynch you. And if we have to light up fireworks, then we'll light up fireworks. I guarantee you that. But the question is, where do you get the armor of light that we just spoke about? Let me read it again for you, and I'm going to end it right here. Ezekiel 11 and 16. Therefore say, thus said the Lord God, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. You see all y'all on Beagle right now tuning into this class? You're in that sanctuary online. All you right now live on I.S.U.P.K Montreal, Toronto, IET, and Boston on YouTube, I.S.U.P.K Montreal and Canada on Facebook. This is sanctuary right now. Everywhere we have a physical school is that sanctuary where you get the armor of light. And you put on that armor of God to be able to fight against all these fights that we have. And these fights are not physical. Even though we do train physically. You understand? Ain't no wrong in training physically to be prepared to defend yourself. Ain't no wrong, but listen, you know all the martial art techniques, the choking techniques, the arm bars or whatnot. It doesn't protect your kids from promiscuity. It doesn't protect your kids from what's out there. Being a martial artist doesn't stop crack cocaine, the crack epidemic. You understand? It doesn't stop our women being sluts and our men being weak, effeminate, homosexual. It don't stop. You know what will, though? The laws of the God. Knowing your identity, that these laws only apply to you and you only, so-called Black, Latinos, and Native. You know what will stop Black on Black crime? Not uniting with the white man. Not begging and marching, no justice, no peace, stop killing us. You know what will, though? Brotherhood. You know what keeps family together? Brotherhood. Sisterhood. Knowing that you're a monster, but guess what? I can't divorce you. We're going to have to fix it. You're going to have to find a solution. Your man makes 1,000 mistakes every day. Well, you ain't going to sleep on him. You ain't going to go sleep on another man with another man, and become a slut. You're going to fix your marriage. You're going to teach your kids how, you're going to be a role model to your kids. Why? Because we have the blueprints from our forefathers. We become the role model that we always needed, that we never got. How? By breaking this cycle. And where do you learn how to break this cycle? Again, in this little sanctuary right here. Wherever you are, there's an ISUPK in your zone. If not, we're building it from the ground up. You understand? And that is the sanctuary where you get the armor of light, where you get the armor of God. With that said, I'm going to end the class right here. Y'all tune into John Hyman's scripture breakdown on One West I.S.U.P.K online classes. He will be live in about 10-15 minutes. going to conclude the class. The water for everybody who tuned in. We'll read the security announcements and we'll close it out. The water for every brother and sister. I say Shalom, Yahweh B'Hashem Shabrakatam, and Yahweh Shemalatan B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Concerning Christ. Give me 1 second. There's the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Rule for new brother and sister: when a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10, which means a tenth in the Hebrew, pronounced ma'aishara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocation, we have the memorial of blowing of trumpets, which will be the first day of the 7th month, Friday, September 11th, 2026. You can read more about it in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminder to all Akim Wakwathian, to brothers and sisters, to check the bulletin board in the hallway of their school if they have a physical location. And if any brother wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, so we give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Menavij al Amajam, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Menavij al Amajam Shabbat. Imajam, Barak, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatam, meaning Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai bless y'all. Yad Yamata, which means hands down. Sar, which means to turn and face the sisters. We'll give them a courtesy salute as well. Menavij al Amajam Shabbat. Imajam, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alathan B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, meaning Yahweh watch over y'all in the name of Yahweh Shai. Yad Jamata, hands down, class dismissed. Again, to everybody who tuned in.
Check me out, dog. Roll the window up, man. The water. Ain't no better, dog, brother. The son of a king. I don't Balenciaga. I might just wear Kyla. I might just wear the Pradas. But I'm thinking long term, so I might say the dollars. We ain't no better. I'm just being honest. I should've went to college, but I was thinking violence. It's a one West world. We the fucking loudest. Break it down, we break ground. We don't break no damn promise. Let's get active, dog. Don't tell me how you feel about it. These cats saying too much. They ain't learn enough. You maxed out the first quarter. I'm still warming up. These niggas tossing up a brick. They can't score with us. Who gon' come against us? On the Lord with us. Them niggas riding for you. Hope they ride till they crash. Put my name in your mouth. I put my belt to your ass. I ain't running no race. I just hope that I last. All them niggas you look up to, I consider them trash. Only time you seen a leader was in Wayne hand. Niggas will dap you, then pop you with the same hand. I'm a main player. I stick to the game plan. He don't really fuck with you. That's your main man. We them niggas came through and made your city hot. Yep, said he in the field, but he really not. And I ain't casting no stone, I just let him rock. And that's the kind of story they gon' read about. But if it's war, it ain't no tapping out. Grip still heat, spit like a dragon mouth.
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man, if you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isupk.com and pay your tithe. Drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.